Hello and welcome to an all-new
Have you
Marvel
ever heard
cast, Explosion
someone?
Network's hub of all things Marvel, a place to talk about everything MCU and beyond, from Avengers and Defenders to Richter and Strong Guy. My name's Ashley Cobley, your Omega level host, and joining me today is the ultimate Ciaran Martian.
Have you ever
I'm a
experienced
podcaster,
anything
by
you'd
the way.
consider
Just like my father, he used to read out
abnormal?
kind of overhead things in the supermarket. It's the same.
Yes.
Also
Last
joining us is
question.
Ciaran and Dylan.
Do you know what mutants are? Did you know
what that
baby
has to do with
rattlesnakes are more
But today we're
dangerous
talking about
than adult ones?
the New Mutants.
They haven't learned how to control how much venom they
a
secrete.
much maligned movie, one that went through
All
a
of
weird
you
post-production
are
hell,
dangerous.
I guess would be the best
That's
way
why
to
you're
describe it.
here.
Let's make sure that we place before we get into this. I think it's very important to state this movie was in production. Disney brought Fox. This movie comes out. Let's just clarify.
Yeah,
I think it's important.
The film was filmed between
What is
July
this
and
place?
September 2020.
This is in the hospital. It's a haunted house.
The film was then delayed for reshoots, which were planned. After acquisition, without reshoots in March
You've been through
2020.
a lot.
So they delayed the
Get some
movie
rest.
2 years. Waiting for reshoots. So, says a lot. But yes, let's jump into it. Please be aware we'll be freely discussing anything and everything about plot themes and any of the movie. So if you haven't watched it, come back later. Of course, it is streaming on Disney Plus. Let's talk about the New Mutants.
I'm gonna ask you a series of questions. I want you to respond truthfully. Have you ever hurt someone?
Yes.
Have you ever experienced anything you'd consider abnormal?
Yes.
Last question. Do you know what mutants are? Did you know baby rattlesnakes are more dangerous than adult ones? They haven't learned how to control how much venom they secrete. All of you are dangerous. That's why you're here.
Released August 28th, 2020. Directed by Josh Boone. Written by Josh Boone and Knate Lee. Based on New Mutants by Chris Claremont and Bob McLeod. Starring Maisie Williams, Anya Taylor-Joy, Charlie Heaton, Alice Braga, Blue Hunt, Henry Zaga, and Adam Beach. 5 teenage mutants, Mirage, Wolfsbane, Cannonball, Sunspot, and Magic, undergo treatments at a secret institution that will cure them of their dangerous powers. Invited by Cecilia Reyes to share their stories, their memories soon turn into terrifying realities as they start to question why they're being held and who's trying to destroy them. So neither of you had watched this movie prior to this,
Correct.
correct?
Correct.
So Dylan, what do you think of the New Mutants?
I mean, it's pretty crap. I think that's I don't think there's anything denying that. I went in knowing that, so I guess I was sort of trying to look for something to not just join the crowd of shitting on it, sort of aspect. I don't think the cast is good, and obviously, Maisie Williams, Anya Taylor-Joy, Charles Heaton, like the standouts there, like Alice Braga, and I think they have decent chemistry or whatever, between them and whatever else. I think Anya Taylor-Joy could have continued to be a cool what's her character's actual name?
Magic.
Magic, thank you. She could have continued to be a cool Magic. I like the idea of it, I guess, on paper. If I was to write down the idea of the movie, I'm
It's
the
like, hey,
idea's
we're
cool.
doing mutants, but there's a horror twist on it.
Yeah, I like the pitch, the elevator pitch for the film. I think there are some creepy scenes, not scary, but just the smiley man or whatever chasing it. I sort of get it, but yeah, I mean, it just doesn't ultimately. as much as the cool ideas and whatever else on paper, it just none of it comes together at all. Like it doesn't commit to being scary enough to really to be an actual horror movie. The last 20 minutes or so, the big finale, like that big monster's nowhere near scary enough. Just it's sort of just that's what I'd say. I like the idea, just doesn't at all even come close to coming together in an enjoyable fashion.
Ciaran, what do you think of New Mutants?
Yeah, I echo a lot. I think great cast, and this is without me. Sorry to preface, of course, because being the movie kind of ignorant person a lot of times to a lot of things going on in the movie sphere, I had no conception of what this movie was going into it. I had no conception if it was good or bad. I guess knowing that it's not really spoken about.
The fact that you avoided it probably.
Not avoid. The thing is, right, I didn't actively avoid it. It's just something I hadn't seen. And it wasn't anything too... And this is the thing, right? At the same time, I wasn't watching Dark Phoenix. Maybe that was just because of my feelings towards X-Men at the time.
Actually, I don't know if it got a theatre release here in Australia.
Yeah,
I think it just eventually just dropped.
Dark Phoenix?
No. New Mutants. New Mutants.
No, it was in cinemas locally for me, I remember. I chose not to go see it, so yeah.
Yeah, great cast. I think the script is dreadful. For I think there's a lot of moments in this script that I feel are just like, it feels like there was a longer script that big chunks have been pulled out of, and just no effort to kind of fill in those gaps. Like there's a lot of stuff that just is never explained or never focused on or anything. Like, why was Cannonball hooking himself onto a massive cinder block and then flying around the place, Was he
I assumed it was him trying to get better control over
it, but then
that's me reading into it. But
yeah, but then nobody else, none of the other cast of characters were learning how to control or improve themselves with their powers.
He made a choice to be better.
It was just very, and then there's there's the line between Danny and Rain where Danny's like, oh, you don't feel real to me. You've been so kind to me. I'm like, all we've seen since before you said this, all we've seen of you two realistically is her talking you off the ledge from committing suicide, and then the uncomfortable scene in the shower where you've forgotten this story she just told everybody about 5 minutes ago, and you weren't able to put one and one together about what the branded W was in her back. And those were the only moments we saw, and now we're on to, oh, you're really kind to me, and we were blossoming into a love, into a romantic relationship. It's like, what the fuck? Where did, what? And I feel like that so much of that happens, I honestly popped the fuck off the moment I realized that Anya Taylor-Joy was playing Magic. I was like, holy fuck, that's Magic. I'm so fucking excited for that. And I popped the fuck off. And then you go from the scenes with the smiling man running after them, and she's freaking the fuck out. Whole time I was like, guys, you guys are fucking mutants. Somebody use or attempt to use your powers, please. Just do something. Because for much of it, I'm like, this movie could be the same movie even if these kids didn't have powers. If you took the mutant stuff out of this movie, a lot of this stuff could happen and probably would play out a lot better. Yeah, and then you're begging, and then Anya, then Magic, panics and teepees away, and oh dear, and Cannibal's worrying about it. And then we're literally within the space of a scene, and we don't see this happen on screen. There's nothing at all. All of a sudden, she's popped back in with a sword as a badass. But there's no, you don't see it on screen of her revelation of, oh, she needs to start using her powers and not being scared. There's none of that on screen. And it's even then, I guess, and to kind of stick on Magic, then all of a sudden, Lockheed is a real being that's just turns up for that fight, and then nothing happens with Lockheed ever again. There's no conversation about what Lockheed is. There's
Is that the dragon?
That's the dragon.
Yeah, I remember after I watched it, I Googled, and like everyone, because I was like, oh, that dragon's kind of cool, and then I remember googling, and Google told me that character sort of isn't really even that heavily associated to
No,
Magic.
it's more heavily tied with Kitty Pryde.
Yeah, so
So-
I was like, okay, yeah, I'm confused, but
And so that is, and then I just feel like a lot of this movie, and then the third act, this movie fell over on its face real hard. All of the intrigue and the mystery around who was keeping them captive and what was going on here fell on its fucking face, and a good portion of it was just never explained.
yeah, well, this is the other thing is this is the Disney Fox thing. So between this and Apocalypse and Logan and everything was like building up to being like doing a sinister
Mr. Sinister.
movie or something between all these movies, but they never got to do it. So it just makes, in retrospect, all of these teasers throughout all these movies feel even more pointless.
As someone who had watched this before, I didn't mind it the first time I watched it. I thought it was fine. I still think it's fine. It's just very unmemorable in any way other than Anya Taylor-Joy. Even Maisie Williams and Charlie Heaton, they're cool because they're, it actors, I guess, but nothing about them is particularly interesting.
I don't think it's particularly interesting, but at least their performances are like fine. Like
They're doing the best they can with it. Like, even just like, fuck me, and it's what I was referring to in the intro today, was like her, like the Reyes like pulling blood, and then it cutting to it and being like, oh yeah, I'm a doctor, by the way. Even though for the entire movie so far she has been, acting as this doctor or something, and then she's like, yeah, I'm a doctor, by the way, so you're fine. Yeah, I come from a long line of doctors. I can't remember, mum or dad was a vet. I was like, huh? What?
Yeah, I think maybe the other thing is it's a little too small scale. Like, maybe they could have used a few more like people running the hospital.
It's very weird that there's only one person.
There's one person,
and it's like it makes the 5 mutants look fucking stupid.
especially when one of them can literally teleport.
Because you sit there going,
can't-
you guys could have jumped this woman at any
Yeah.
time.
Isn't the thing though they don't know how to escape they don't know how to
Which
turn
is
off
also fucking stupid.
That's how they try to explain it. They don't know how to turn off the way out or whatever.
No, but they should have realized the moment where Danny and Magic are having a fight and she uses the same force field bubble to separate them, showing that it's her power and her ability. The moment that should just be like, oh, then that shield.
You're the source of all their problems.
You're the source
But
of everything.
Until then, I can sort of buy it at least.
That's not very long into the movie.
No, that's like 20 minutes into the movie.
But I mean, like they've been living. Some of them have been there for months until that point. Like,
but surely that isn't the first time she's used the powers in front of them.
I don't know. Maybe not.
Surely,
I think
not.
you would act a little bit more surprised.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, there's just a lot of stuff that is just makes the main cast look fucking stupid the entire way through, and it relies on the audience overlooking a lot of things for this movie to even have any hope of being any good.
No, yeah. I think this movie, more than anything, is just unrealized potential.
Yeah.
The cast is solid. The concept is solid. Maybe this wasn't the best format to tell it in. Maybe you could have stretched this over like a 4, 5, 6 episode miniseries or something like that. And then you could actually get into the characters and not have like half the movie being, here's everything about the characters. And then, oh, why are they still here in the hospital? What's this weird shit that's starting to happen all of a sudden?
I remember being really excited when they announced it initially. Like before the horror story.
Well, because wasn't the first trailer? I remember the first trailer for this going really hard on the horror element.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Like, it went real hard on this being a horror, and I remember watching it and being like, "Oh, that's a cool concept for mutants and stuff. Like, that could be interesting."
Yeah.
Which is crazy because the last movie Josh Boone directed before Mutants was The Fault in Our Stars.
Yeah.
which does not scream horror in any way,
I mean,
unless you're really scared of cancer.
I was going to say cancer.
I was about to say I'm not scared of cancer. So like,
Cancer's
you know,
yeah.
I
But
like,
you know, cancer's never going to be the star of a horror movie. Yet.
I don't know. Maybe it has. Wouldn't surprise me.
All right, Dylan, who's your mutant of the movie? I'll be very surprised if we actually don't have all the same ones.
There is one mutant that is
Magic.
head and shoulders. Yes, there we go.
Yeah, it's Magic. Even though she is a bitch at the start.
She's a bitch.
She's like over the top, super mean for absolutely no reason.
I
She's
get
a
it.
mean girl.
She's just it's her safety mechanism to not to push things.
She's a
away,
traumatized girl.
to traumatize it,
Yeah.
and you get it. I do think it does, like, once again, it makes it look fucking stupid. Why does sorry everybody, listen closely. Why would a character that has the ability to fucking teleport have any fucking dramas about being put in fucking isolation? Because they'd be put in there and then be like, see ya. Like there's just like it's so fucking stupid. Like it is like I wish they had at least attempted that there was some reason why these kids can't freely use their abilities.
It's not like there's a million mutants that could, like, you know,
It's
stop them from going places. And
It's
that kind of
crazy
stuff,
that someone who's the ability to add an extra turn to the game isn't able to, you know, make the
Like,
most of the abilities.
it's-
Sorry, that's a Marvel Snap joke.
It is.
Yeah.
Like even like Sunspot. Sunspot is a crazy, ridiculously strong character.
Plus
you know?
one energy per turn.
I'll admit he has a reason why he maybe doesn't want to use his powers. When
Sure.
he admits he burnt his girlfriend
wish-
alive.
I do wish though that, like, once again, script problem. I really do wish he had stopped having to refer to it as I get kinda hot. Like it just, like, even in the segment that sure, afterwards it's revealed that it's all a mirage and it's not actually Magic's character. But when the dude is stood in a pool, literally fucking like making the water around him steam and like bubble, and she's like, "Oh, what's wrong? What's going on?" And he's like, "Oh, I just need to cool down." You could put one and one together, right? Like you could fucking understand what's going on here. Fuck my life. It's just
It's hot.
you know what? The more I talk about this movie, the more I dislike it and how fucking terrible the script is. Because the script's bad. There's a lot wrong.
All right. Ciaran, what's the most marvelous moment of the movie?
Magic versus the bear. Even though it's kind of like, so you're telling once again script issue. So you're telling me you're this much of a badass with your fighting with that sword, yet you have been restricted to this place by one lady that could do force fields. Fuck you off. Come on. What the fuck is going on? It just keeps going. It's like a rabbit hole. It's like a rabbit hole. Even if you were like, okay, but the reason these people haven't been doing this stuff or escaping is because of the traumas that they've been living through. That only makes sense if those.
To be fair, there's also the lie that they're being trained to be X-Men.
But they never specifically told that, and they're not doing any training. Sorry, Ashley, they are not training. One of them is being attached.
I absolutely know that, but
they're not being trained. They're just every now and then they have a fucking group therapy session, and that's it. One of them goes and attaches himself to a fucking cinder block and flies around like he's a fucking kid on New Year's with a fucking sparkler, but everybody else, nah, you got nothing. Nothing at all.
But I'm saying that's a reason they might have stuck around, because they believed they were going to be being trained. Or
none of them want.
They were being ready to be trained by the X-Men.
None of them wanted that though. No, none of the five
Deep
of them
down.
displayed.
Deep
No,
down.
don't say deep down. None of them displayed that.
Off camera.
I think all of them displayed on camera various reasons. Just be like, I just want to get out of here. I just want this to be done so I can go live my life.
Dylan, what's the most marvelous moment in the movie?
I forgot. I was even supposed to be thinking about that question amongst all of
Kieran's
that.
ranting.
I'm gonna go. I think the best horror moment for me, or the closest I think to actually being scary with a little bit of work, would have been actually I think the scene where she's attacked by the dude and like
By the priest.
by the priest.
Marked.
Remarked. I think that was the closest to being an actual like scary scene in the movie. So I'm gonna go with that.
I'm down with you. I actually think the when the quote unquote not two things. The first time you see the smiley guy, I was like, the fuck is going on here? And then the second is like actually having the burnt girlfriend kind of appearing behind him. I was like, oh, that's kind of fucked up. That's a thing. But I guess in that same moment, you kind of unravel what's going on here, and it's all kind of dumb.
For me, the best moment is the bear popping out and just eating Alice Braga.
But it didn't even eat her. It kind of like chewed her a couple
Just
times and then
chewed her
spat
up.
her out.
Well, you know, because
Also,
humans don't digest well.
also, another weird thing.
Keep going.
Sorry,
That's
I
what
have
this podcast is for.
these things keep popping up in my brain. Everybody else is kind of having these moments of sentimentalness where, like, Danny picks up a picture of her dad from the rubble. The cannibal picks up his chunk of coal. I think Magic picks up the Lockheed sock. Sunspot, even though he could have picked up his phone with the picture of his girlfriend on it, instead picks up Reyes's foot or her heel and like kind of pours blood out of it slightly and looks disgusted, which is a really weird fucking moment in this whole segment of being sentimental about what's gone on here.
Well, you just want to make sure that it was empty. This was a guy who throws out every shirt that gets dirty. So, I mean, you know, he's weird. Do you guys want to talk about New Mutants anymore?
No.
I could.
I mean,
I think
I was like,
I think-
I think Ciaran needs a whole extra episode.
I would
could
have been
keep going.
interested to see what they did with reshoots. Because in my mind, they would have
If they could have filled in some of the gaps, maybe
just pulled the
added-
trigger, put John Hamm as Mr. Sinister in this. That changes everything.
add some more character, add some more people who work at the institute.
Yep.
Maybe like remove the whole thing of because that's where I thought it was going. I thought there was going to be a double take moment where at first they thought it was Mirage, but then it wasn't Mirage, it was something else, because then I feel like it would be easier to explain why all of the characters are good with Mirage, even though she has put them through some
Terrible
real
trauma.
fucked up traumatizing shit, like to the point where, you know, Rain has actually been rebranded for a second time. Like it yeah, you know what? Rain, well-adjusted character, because she just waved off that whole incident and knowing that it was Danny's fault real easy.
All right. Let us know what you thought of the New Mutants. Do you reckon we'll see them ever again? Probably not.
I think.
I mean, if they, I think we're all like, if they were to bring Anya Taylor-Joy back to play Magic
She wouldn't want
again.
to. She's gone on
I think
the
she's
No,
too
she
big
won't.
now.
I think she's too big.
She's too
Yeah.
big now.
But if they threw a bunch of money at her,
No, I don't even think a bunch of money would do it anymore.
Furiosa.
I think she is. I think in a world pre-Furiosa, maybe, but a
I
world
know Furious a
post-
bomb. Maybe she's using it again as much as she thinks.
Chess girl.
I was gonna say also
Yeah.
post Queen's Gambit.
All
Princess
right.
Peach.
Yeah, that's true. She's got that money train. She probably doesn't need the Marvel
She's
money.
good.
Yeah, let us know by going to explosion.com/Twitter or jump into Discord at explosion.com/Discord. If you want to help us out here at All New Marvelcast, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and Podchaser. Leave us 5 stars, and you can leave 5 stars or just tell people about the show. And if you've enjoyed this episode, thought it was worth $1, head on over to our Ko page at explosion.com/support. Thank you very much for listening. We're almost at the end of our Mutant Rewatch. Make sure you watch Logan and join us next week for another All New Marvelcast.